Chris Bassitt makes a case to start Game 2 of a potential wild card series as the Blue Jays bats come alive. Hey everyone, welcome into another edition of Long Ball. Rob Wong joined alongside by Toronto Sun Blue Jays writer Rob Longley. And Chris Bassitt capping off an incredible first regular season as a Blue Jay, reaching the 200-inning mark for the first time in his career. Now there's still work to do for the Blue Jays in order to make the postseason, but if they do get to a wild card series, is Bassitt one of your first two starters as you line up your rotation?
Yeah, he would be for me, Rob. And first, a word on what he did here on Thursday night. Getting to pitching seven and two-thirds to get to 200 innings for the first time in his career. He was pretty emotional about it afterwards because, as a veteran guy, he recognizes that the way baseball is structured now, it's very hard to get to 200 innings. Often, you're not allowed to face an order for a third time through. Often, you're not allowed to go 7 or 8 innings into a game. So, reaching 200 innings is a big deal right now, and he was very emotional about it afterwards and very pleased with his body of work this season. And I think anyway that does earn him the spot for a wild card round should the Jays qualify. I would think he would slot in number 2 right behind Kevin Gausman, unless the Jays try to do something different. We've seen some talk out there about different looks, and the Blue Jays certainly are among the lead organizations in baseball in terms of working matchups and overthinking things and adjusting their plans accordingly. But I think based on the body of work, Kevin Gausman and Chris Bassitt have been such a dynamic and such an accomplished 1-2 punch this year that overthinking it would be counterintuitive. Certainly, you've got Jose Barrios that could slide in there, and maybe you throw him in game 1, and then you have Gausman for game 2. Whether it be a clinching or a must-win situation, and then Bassitt to clean it up. But I wouldn't overthink it if I were the Blue Jays. I would go with your two top guys have been that way all season, Kevin Gausman followed by Chris Bassitt.
Meanwhile, we saw the offense finally break out on Thursday night with 3 home runs, and we saw some players moved around in John Schneider's lineup. Davis Schneider, Whit Merrifield were on the outside looking in. Is this the lineup you would go with in a potential Game 1 of a wildcard series?
I think it's got to be pretty close. That lineup was based on performance, and at this time of year, that's the way you've got to do it. Whit Merrifield has certainly been struggling. The league has figured out how to pitch to Davis Schneider, and he's been struggling as well. 2 valuable guys on the bench that could come in for situational hitting opportunities. I think a lot of it has been dictated by the swift return to form of Brandon Belt after being on the injured list. And, the reason they got this guy is he's got World Series experience. He's got 2 World Series rings, and he tends to elevate his game this time of year. And he did that on Thursday night with a massive 3-run homer to put that game out of reach. And he looked good in the number 2 spot. I think it made a lot of sense to move him to 2 and move the best hitter to the cleanup spot in Bo Bichette. And the rationale being you get either Springer or Belt or both of them on base, and then you've got Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette coming up to drive them in. So it made a lot of sense. Now, having said all that, the Jays will certainly manipulate their lineup matchup based, depending on what sort of a pitcher they're facing, and they will consider handedness in how they put it all together. But I think what we saw Thursday night certainly was effective, and it made a lot of sense. And basically trying to seize on the guys who are the hottest at this time of year, which is absolutely what you have to do.
Well, just 3 games remaining for the Blue Jays. Hopefully the next time we're talking, it is teeing up a wild card series. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments section below. You can find all of Rob's Blue Jays coverage at the Toronto Sun.